You gonna have to pick a struggle, okay? You either gonna be big or you gonna have a nasty attitude, but you can't have both.
I don't have a big person mindset. I'm skinny in my head.
Hey, welcome or welcome back. My name is Nadia. I hope you're doing really well today. For today, we are gonna look at two fat activists who are struggling with the English language. Both of them don't seem to understand what the word discrimination means, and the second one is redefining the F word. So we're gonna start by looking at this fake protest from JaeBae, and the protest is based on this.
If you're familiar with my experience at SeaTac where they refused to push me in a wheelchair, you saw that video, and they refused to push me because I was too fat, and they had absolutely no consideration for my physical health, my well-being, my needs, none of the above. And you know what? Enough is enough. SeaTac will be held accountable for their actions. We will not stand for this any longer.
I mean, she won't even stand for her own protest. And most of us know the incident she's talking about that allegedly happened because of how much attention she got for it last year.
My ordeal at SeaTac Airport will shock you. When it came time for me to deplane, I saw the employee who would be assisting me with my wheelchair waiting for me in the entry of the jet bridge. As I approached her and she realized she'd be assisting me and not one of the smaller passengers, she started to walk away with the wheelchair while making comments about my size. I was then forced to walk up one of the longest jet bridges I've encountered, and she didn't stop.
So now she is going back to this incident and trying to squeeze whatever remaining attention she can from this situation, and she's doing it with this radical demonstration at the airport. It is her with a sign in her wheelchair with one very confused looking employee in the shot. But I'm guessing he wasn't confused for very long because this could not have lasted for more than 30 seconds. The music she picked for this TikTok is Childish Gambino's This Is America. This is America. Which is worth noting because that's pretty audacious in my opinion. This whole bit that she's doing, this little stunt, it's just her cosplaying oppression on a few levels.
This is unacceptable and it's discrimination and will not be tolerated any longer. Stand in solidarity with us. SeaTac will be held accountable for their actions.
Her sign says that her rights have been violated, and the caption says, "This is discrimination," which is exactly what Dank Demoss is claiming about the Lyft driver situation.
It's like a Lyft might be hurting pretty soon too.
I knew it was illegal and I knew that it was wrong.
And it's all about attention for both of them, I think. JaeBae has been over the top performative this year already. She is leaning hard into this idea of being some kind of martyr for plus size people.
And that's when I started fighting for us, for fat liberation, for the right to exist, to thrive, and to take up space. Hey, I'm Jalen, but you might know me as JaeBae, but honestly, I'm just Jay.
But nobody asked for her or this, specifically not this. She put wheelchair access for all on this sign, which is just the cherry on top here. She's trying to make it look like a more generalized plea on behalf of everyone who needs a wheelchair. But that's just her trying to curb the backlash that she knows she's gonna get by using the disabled community as a shield. JaeBae doesn't care about fat liberation. She doesn't care about people with disabilities. She cares about her brand. A brand that really only works and exists as long as she doesn't get the things she's claiming she wants. She would be just another wannabe influencer trying to get noticed if the fat liberation ideal actually manifested itself, not unlike all of the people trying to launch their rap careers on TikTok.
I can fit in this car. What makes you think I can't fit in this car? No, I don't never have to order Uber XL.
We already know that Dank Demoss is suing Lyft for discrimination. What I want us to look at is this interview that she did on The Breakfast Club.
How you? Good morning. You good?
Good morning.
What's going on? Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
Stormy. Hey, Ken. How you, brother? You good? Nice to meet you, Ken.
This the only seat y'all got?
What you want? What you need?
There's one more. A bigger chair or something.
Is she already little?
We had
That's what I'm talking about. Good, this is accommodation.
We are starting off with her needing a couch to be separated so she could use a piece of it as a chair. And the imagery is definitely bringing me back to the video we just watched of Dave Blunt's rapping on a couch at his show. And this is the moment that she ruined her own lawsuit. Not that I think it had a chance to begin with, but she just fully acknowledged that she needs special accommodations.
No, I don't never have to order Uber XL.
Accommodations not unlike what that Lyft driver suggested, ordering an XL.
You said the chair was too small, so we had to bring the part of the sectional for you to sit in. And you said something. You said, now this is what I'm talking about, accommodations, right?
Yes.
But we live in a world that's not always going to be able to accommodate people that are
But we
plus
should,
size.
though. We should, because we not all the same, you know? I feel like we should. Like, why not?
When I hear the word should, I pause. It's a pretty loaded word, so I actually try to be careful how I use that in my own life. If you are asserting that something should be a certain way, I think you need a really good basis for that. And entitlement shuts people down regardless of what size you are. I really liked what this lady had to say about it.
You're gonna have to pick a struggle, okay? You either gonna be big or you're gonna have a nasty attitude, but you can't have both. You're gonna pick a struggle and you're gonna stick with the struggle you choose. You need to ask, hey, do you all have a chair that might be a little bit more comfortable for me? But instead, you went in there with your nasty attitude. You act like you are entitled to every fucking thing because everybody around you has normalized making all of these special accommodations for your. But that ain't how it works.
I don't think that's how it works either. And honestly, we need more of that woman's energy in the world. But when people keep it real and just confront people with reality, they get accused of traumatizing them. When they describe things accurately, they get accused of using slurs.
Bigger people, obese, the F word people should just be in a house.
F word people? Really?
Yeah, the F word. I'm not
The word
about
that you can't say in your house, fat. You don't like it.
Oh!
I'm not saying that word.
This is actually a big part of the issue right here. Regardless of whether we say fat, plus size, obese, she is dangerously overweight.
That's just not true. You can't tell someone's health by looking at them.
That statement is a lot more profound when we are looking at someone who presents as healthy, who appears well, but is actually dealing with an underlying health condition. When someone is pushing 500 pounds, we can start by just acknowledging that gravity alone is impacting their health. And that is not me trying to be an asshole. Something as simple as her losing balance and tripping could be life-threatening. But we have gotten so comfortable lying to people's faces that this girl has now been quoted multiple times as saying she feels skinny in her head.
Like I said in the interview, I don't have a big person head. Like, I don't have. No, for real, y'all. For real, no, look. I don't have a big person mindset. I'm skinny in my head. I'm skinny. Like, my body right now is like my mind don't know that I'm this big. My mind does not know that I'm this big.
Our minds are really powerful and also really malleable. And part of why I have the passion I do specifically for TikTok is because young minds are even more vulnerable. I can't really be convinced that she came to the conclusion that she is not the problem, society's the problem, all on her own.
For years, we've been told fat is the enemy, that our bodies are the problem. But here's the truth. The real issue isn't our bodies, it's the system that profits off of our oppression.
I don't think so. She has groups like Body Positivity and F Acceptance who have engineered a reality that absolves them of all personal responsibility. And that carefully engineered reality has become so pervasive that when those people encounter contradictions or face the consequences of their choices, like not being able to fit into a car, they frame it as emotional damage or trauma instead of recognizing it as a clash with reality.
Reality sucks.
And we're now indulging delusion to the extreme that we have lawyers going on the news attempting to equate this to discriminating against someone based on their skin color.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car.
I have less than zero respect for everyone around her pretending to care about her or her lawsuit right now. They don't care about her at all. But going back to the F word or F people.
Let me ask you a question. You said that the F word, the fat, is a slur.
Yes.
This is particularly confusing, mainly because F acceptance is usually trying to convince us that the word fat is just a neutral descriptor.
I say fat because, well, I am fat. Shocker.
Fat is just a word.
A while back on here, I asked how you all felt about the word fat, and most people said they preferred not to be called fat. And I understand that because that word has a lot of negative connotations. It's been used negatively for a long time. Yet this idea that it can be reclaimed is really emphasized in the fat acceptance space.
When I don't identify as fat, the power in the situation, if it's like a thin person, the power resides in their court, right? They get to throw down that word whenever they want to put me in my place. And when I start out the conversation with like, I'm fat, it's like, I took that card off the table. You can't play that card.
There is a linguistic theory that suggests words not only have meaning, they also perform actions. The word fat can be used to perform the action of shaming or humiliating someone, for example, just like the word skinny. I do understand what Virgie is communicating here, even if I disagree that it works, because fat describes a body condition that we know to be unhealthy. The negative connotations haven't just been fabricated, they're rooted in legitimate concerns about health risks and quality of life. We can't all just agree that the word disease is now a positive thing and then free ourselves of the consequences of that disease.
Stop using the word obese or obesity, especially if you're talking about a fat person. If you want to talk about a fat person, you can call them a fat person, a person of size, a plus size individual, etc. You do not have to use the word obese. It is not an accurate term to discuss human beings or their bodies.
Whether we use the language of too obese, too big, or too fat, this driver did not feel confident that Dank Demoss would fit into his car safely, which his safety matters also. And simply observing the physical limitations of the world that we are all a part of is not the same thing as discriminating against someone. And BS like this just makes it that much harder to have actual discrimination taken seriously in the future.
You played yourself.
Thank you for making it here to the end with me. If you are still here with me, I want to know what you think about all of this. Is the F word a slur? Is physics discrimination? Let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here. Everyone take care. I'll have another video up soon.